Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me IJ and this is IJ Designs. In today's tutorial we are going to learn how to make a 6-piece skirt, a celebrity 6-piece skirt. That is what we are going to learn how to make today. But before then, I'm so happy I've gotten my bias tape maker set. Just got it this morning, so I'm very excited. In my next tutorial, I'll show to us how to make use of this, so watch out. Then, without wasting much time, let's dive into the drafting of the 6-piece skirt. In today's tutorial, I'm going to use my measurements to cut out the panels of this skirt. So let's get started. And before then, what do you need? As usual, your tape, your marker, hip curve, and the ruler. You need this ruler, very important in making 6-piece skirt, and your curve. And also you need your scissors to cut it out. So without wasting much time, let's draft. Just take I'm going to take my circumference of my hip. I'm hip 40. So hip 40, I'm going to divide it by 12. That is 40 divided by 12. Always get your calculator next to you, like I always say, in order to get your measurement right. Take your calculator with you. So we are going to check. Hip 40, I am hip 40. So my hip is 40. 40 divided by 12. Because you are going to fold it in two. So folding that two for 6 pieces. Folding it in two. 2 times 6 is 12. That is why we are dividing it in with 12. But please bear in mind, in making a 6-piece skirt that will have a zip at the back, you need a 7 panel. 7. Quite alright, it's called 6 pieces, but you need 7 panel. Why? At the back where the zip is divided into 2. So the panel of the zip side will be divided into 2. That is the center piece will divide into 2. So actually you have 7 pieces. But now you have to fold your hip circumference that you have divided by 12 and also times it by 3 or minimum 2. You can also do it 2 or 2.5 or 3. That is timesing what you have after dividing your hip by 12. Timesing it by either 2 or 2.5 or 3. But I like having my well flowed, so I always put more inches after I have measured or times with 3. So now mine is 14. I want it to flow perfectly at the down. So I'm going to use 14 inches. So when you open it up, it is going to be 28 inches. So now let's input our measurements. I love wearing flowing 6-piece skirt. So I go by a high length. My length normally 42 is okay, but I make mine 44 so that it flows at the down because I put on heel. So when you put on heel, the flowing will be perfect. So I will make it 44. I'll make it 44, but I'm not going to cut it at 44 because of the band. I'm going to use 1.5 inches band. So I'm going to cut at 42.5. 42.5. Then when I add allowance, because I'm going to fold it at the down, when I add allowance of 1 inch, I'm going to get 43.5. Let me take it again. My length is 44. I took away 1.5 inches for the band. Then I'll be left with 42.5. Then at the down part of it, I'm going to add 1 inch for the turning for the hemming of the skirt. That is 43.5. So I'm going to measure it at 43.5. Here I'll mark my 43.5, and also here I'll mark my 43.5. I'll make it into a straight line. Always mark at the wrong side of your fabric. So now, what is my length to hip? What my hip to my waist to hip is 8 inches. But I'm not going to mark at the 8. Remember, we took away 1.5 inches. I'm going to mark at 6.5 inch. That is where I'm going to place my hip. Always get your measurement right. Here is 43.5. Let's make it into a straight line. I hope you are seeing what I'm doing. This is a straight line of 43 from the bottom to the top. It's 43. So now I've gotten the length of my skirt, that is 43. When I add the 1.5, it is going to be 44. And I fold at the down part of it. I'm going to get my exact 44. So now, the next thing is to put the measurement of my waist. My waist is 32. And 32 divided by 12 is going to give me 2.6. Then I'll add 0.5 half inch seam allowance. I'm going to have 3.1. Then here I'll mark 3.1. Here is my 3.1. Then I'll come down to the length from the waist to the hip. Waist to my hip is 8, but I'm not going to mark at 8. I'm going to mark at 6.5. I'm going to mark at 6.5, or you put your tape from 1.5, so at the waist, then you mark also at 8. Either 2 ways is okay. Either you use from 1 to 6.5, or you put your tape so and you get 8. Then there down to my knee area, because for 6-piece skirt, it has to start from somewhere to flow. From my waist to my knee is 18. Minus 1.5 is 16.5. So I'm going to put it here 16.5. Plus a half inch sewing allowance is 17. That is here. So now let us do the horizontal. The horizontal 3.6 is here. 3.1 is here, and my waist is 3.8 with the half inch seam allowance is here. Then on this knee, I'm going to remove half an inch, then it will come to 3.3. See? And this is the 3.3. Then I connect. Because my hip is not all that much, I'm going to use this. But when it is a bigger hip, continue with your hip curve. Then from this knee, where the skirt will start flowing, down to the point that you folded at the edge, you mark a straight line. Just draw a straight line to here. So now let's cut out this first panel. At this down part of it, in order not to have a sharp curve, I'm going to go up by 1 inch. You can come up by 2, by 1.5, but I'm coming up by 1 so that when I fold it, it will be 1.5. Come up here by 1 and use your curve to connect it so that the down will not have any point when sewing. It will not be pointed here when sewing. It will be very nice. So down, the first panel has been cut. This is the first panel. I will use this panel now to cut out the rest panels. This panel, I will take the first panel that we have just cut out, place it after folding it 2 times. I folded the first one and I folded it again. That is 4. It's been folded in 2, then you get 4. So we are going to get 2 pieces more now to make this 3. So now you place it on, you can use pin to hold it so that it doesn't move around. Always keep your pin by your side. You can use your pin, make sure that it's okay, that it's well placed, so that when after cutting you will have the same measurement of panels. Here you also spin it. Now let's cut it out. So now the 2 panels have been cut. The extra 2 panels have been cut out. That is the extra 2 panels. Now the 7 panels are ready, but it's 6 pieces skirt. Remember what I said at the back, the panel that has to come to the back will be divided into 2, and that is what we did here. That is what we did here. If you say it is smaller, because it is 2. When you open up the first panel, It's almost with the same, but it's only the seam allowance for the zip is different. So now this is the first panel that we use to cut out all the panels. So now we have one, the center panel, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, then the back 6, 7. That is the actual panel you will have 7 if you want to make it, if you want it to have a zip at the back. But if it is one that has rope, the 6 pieces with rope, you don't need to make it 7 pieces, you have to cut out 6. I hope I'm cleared. So now we're going to join our fabric, but before joining it, there is something I would like us to understand. In 6 pieces skirt, the 3 panels that has to be in the front, you need to trim it off a little bit at the center. Otherwise, after sewing it, sometimes you see people wearing skirts that is puffy here. Is because it is not being trimmed. Now let us trim it. Get your center panel. That's the center panel. You get your center panel, you fold it back. Fold it back, you put it down. Remember, because of the hip line, it has a little bit of allowance at the center. So now, what do you have to do to give it a little bit of shape so that it doesn't look puffy after sewing? You have to trim off this little space here. So how I does mine is, I now measure from here from the knee to here, I have 3.3 inches. Then I come to the waist. The waist I have 3.1. Then I come to the center, the hip, I'll go by 3.1. I'll go by 3.1 here. I'll measure 3.1. Then here I will measure also. No, I'll measure 3.1 also. Or let's measure 3.3 here. And come here and measure 3.3 here. And then join it to the waist. Let's cut it off to give it a little bit of shape. Pin it so that it's a little bit easy. Then just, you can decide to make a straight line so that it doesn't make a mistake. Just make a straight line so, and give straight line to the hip. Just connect it to the hip, then cut it out. See, it's now straight. So when you sew it, it's not going to have that puffy. Then take another 2 panels that will be by the sides here. You know, one is in the center, one is here, and one is here. Then take another 2 panels. The 2 sides of the front, take it. Always make sure that you are having the right, yeah. Take this, and also shape it out. Give it a little bit of shaping by the 2 sides, by the sides. I'll get my pin. to pin it, because it's a material that always shifts. Pin it. So pin it. So one side of this panel that will be by the side, I'm going to trim it off like what I did. In the other side, just put your ruler in a straight manner like this. Come down to this place. Just trim it off a bit to give it a straight line. This is to avoid the puff that you see in some of our skirts. See, it is now straight. Then this side, this other side of that will be here, you have to trim it inside to give it also shape. You take your tape, go in by half an inch. Go in by half an inch here and connect it to the hip with the help of the hip comb. Connect it to the hip, so. Then let's cut it out from the hip, a little bit trimming. Then from here, you go out. Now, you have gotten the right shape. You have gotten the right shape. Here you trim it off to join it to the center panel in the front. And by the sides, you also trim it inch with half inch to make it look fitted on your lap. Now take the other panels. The remaining two panels also by the side, we are going to trim it a little bit. See how straight it is on the front. There is no puffy. Then I'll take it now to the sewing machine to sew it. Then I'll come back to show you guys. Now I have sewn all the panels, the 3 panels of the front. As you can see, this is the 3. I've sewn it with the machine. You can remember I used pin to pin it down before going to the machine. I've sewn it. This is the panel that will be at the front. So I've sewn it together. You can see it. Then this is the back. This is the back. I've sewn the 2 panels of the back. This side and this side I've sewn it. As you can see it. I've sewn it, but I've not inserted the zip. I've not inserted the zip. I'm going to insert the zip with this. And also this is the band. The 1.5 inch band that I'm going to use for the upper part of it. So now I will take it back to the machine. You see the way I sew it, leaving this center where the zip will be. I've left it open, but I'm going to sew it when I have finished inserting the zip. Then I will show it back. Now I've fixed the zipper and the front and back panel has been attached together. Let me turn it on the right side for you to see how it looks like. After fixing the zip, I now join the front and back panel together and our skirt is forming. Can you see it? Can you see the down part of it? And I'm going to hem it with horsehair to make it stand. Like I called it a celebrity 6-piece skirt. So now I have hemmed it. So let me show you guys how it's looking. The down part of it. Do you see how the down part of it is looking? is flowing. Do you see it? Okay, now it's time to attach the band. Remember, my waist is 32, and 32 I added only but 1 inch because it's a stretchy material, and also I put a little bit of interfacing. Then I now took the skirt. I take the front part. I came to the front panel of the skirt. I took it like this. I measured out 1 inch because of the lower part of the stomach. For the skirt to balance when you put it on, you have to remove 1 inch, but you don't have to remove exactly 1 inch. You will leave ½ inch also from the 1 inch you're supposed to remove, so that you can use it to attach the band. So now I left ½ inch and I removed ½ inch. I connected it to from here. See what I'm doing? The 3 panels in the front, the 3 panels, I fold it like this. I fold it like this from the waist. Then I put it down and I measure and cut a little bit of ½ inch off, and I left the other ½ inch to attach it to the band. And my waist is 32, and the length of the band is 33. I added only 1 inch. 33. I added only 1 inch. I added only 1 inch so that I can use the other half on both sides to turn it. Then the length of the band is 4 inches because I removed 1½ inch from the main skirt. So now the length of the band is 4 inches. I will fold ½ inch from the top and ½ inch from the down, and I fold it together. When you fold ½ inch from the up and ½ inch from the down, and you bring them together like this, when you now measured, you will have your 1½ inch. So this 1½ inch, it will be the band. Then you will attach it to the skirt. Now I have attached the band. So our celebrity 6-piece skirt is ready. That's the band. You can see it. I have now attached it. The band looks very beautiful. Also the inside. So look, that's how the 6-piece skirt looks like. Our celebrity 6-piece skirt. Now I am going to put it on to my Miss Vivi. Now our celebrity 6-piece skirt is ready. Isn't it beautiful? Look at it. Here there is no puffing, it is straight. When I put it on with my heel, it will be so perfect. Isn't it beautiful? So please try one at home. Just follow the steps that I have just done with you. You will get to this. It is easy. Just do it yourself. I love you guys, and I'll continue to be sharing my knowledge for you. Have you subscribed to my channel? If you have not, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Like, share, and comment on my videos, and put up the notification bells that whenever I upload, you will be the first person to be notified. And for those that have already subscribed to my channel, I give you a thumbs up. I love you guys, and I'll continue to be sharing my knowledge with you. I love to share my knowledge, and I'll continue to do that. So please just try this. One of these days, I'm going to show you how I DIY this turban cap. Isn't it beautiful? It is coming soon. So guys, have a pleasant day. Love you. I see you. Catch you in my next video. I remain your girl, IJ Designs. Love you. Bye.